Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. I hope you've all had a Merry Christmas. I hope that if Santa came, he delivered you some lovely hobby goodness. But as for me, I have a Orc Supa Zzap Gun, courtesy of Kieran, or as I'm going to probably term it, Mech Gun number 1. It is a Forge World cast, proper Forge World resin, none of that fine cast business, and it's really pretty, I have to say. It's an absolutely lovely model, and the beauty of it is it's basically push fit. It's not quite push fit, but it kind of is. I mean, I've glued together the base components, but the gun and this stand containing the crewman, not glued at all, which is really handy because I can take it apart for painting, which I was really worried that I was going to be able to have to paint it before I could use it because I would need to glue it to use it, but I don't. I can use it without gluing it, so I can paint it without gluing it. It's really, really handy. Anyway, that sounded very, 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 very circular. Anyway, this is my Christmas present, as I mentioned, for the hobby, and it is also my entry for IDICBeer's New Year Painting Challenge. It would be more that I would do for the challenge because I'm really in the painting mood at the moment, but I have exams in January, and basically I'm waiting for the next round of my student loan to come in before I get any more hobby. So this is going to be my entry for the challenge, and I'm going to really try and go to town. There is an issue with timing. As I mentioned, I have exams, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So as for painting, what I'm planning to do is to do it in my typical red colour scheme. I play Evil Sons, that's what I always do. But I want to really try and make this model stand out. I have never worked with Forge World resin before. I've worked with Finecast, and I sort of know how that works, but I've never used Forge World resin. So I'm a little bit unsure if there's any rules with painting Forge World that I'm not quite sure of. I've been told to wash the model to get any like film or coating off of it so it paints easier and glues easier. But if I'm honest, the glue has taken pretty well. I mean, all the bits that I've glued have glued together completely solid, which is great. I'm not sure if I'm going to wash. If you think I need to just give it a wipe over, then let me know in the comments below. But I'm definitely going to use at least 2 undercoats of Chaos Black, or Abaddon Black as it is now, sorry, before I really get to work on this model, simply so as the paint adheres better. Because I've had experiences with resin where it doesn't paint quite as well without an undercoat, so I'm going to give it an undercoat. In terms of any extra effects, because this is going to be for a painting challenge, I'm going to try and do some more weathered work than I would normally do. So we've got bullet damage sculpted into the model, and I'm going to try and bring a bit more of that out on the chips, on the edge, on the platform here, because it's not perfectly smooth. And just try and make it a bit more like it's been used, because it's probably going to be built mostly of scrap. It's not going to look pristine. I mean, the thing looks pretty patchwork at the best of times, excuse me. So getting it done right, you would need battle damage and just general wear and tear. So like on these pointy sections, on the coils, all those sorts of things, I really want to try and go to work on it. Even on the spanner that the spare Grot crew are carrying. As for this guy's not part of the kit. He's just here because he will be an ammo runt. He's come off my Stomper, which is why he looks terrible. I mean, I couldn't even paint the back of him when he was on the Stomper because I glued him on first because I'm stupid. Or I was stupid about 5 years ago when I got my Stomper. So I'm going to repaint him and use him as an ammo runt for the gun or for anything really. I'm also hoping to do a little bit of energy effect, both on this ball of energy here, obviously the firing point, and there is a second coil or ball just here that I can paint with an energy effect to show it's like catching any off sparks of loose lightning that comes off this gun. Because the way I envision this gun with the coils and the balls and the focusing, and the focusing points is kind of like a Tesla coil with lightning as its main use of weapon, because that's how I sort of envision Zzap guns. So this is going to be sort of used to catch any loose lightning, and the same with this is sort of like an earthing rod. You just hold the rod to it and that completely earths it, or something like that. Probably by electrocuting the poor sod who's holding it along the way, but that's sort of what the plan is, and I'm planning to do that sort of an effect, maybe with a dull copper ball type effect on this thing, and then a more energy type thing on these two. We're going to use gold on the back ball here, because that's what I do with my custom Mega Blasters. It's going to be predominantly red, as I've already talked about, with lots of silver and red and gold elements, perhaps because it's a mech gun. The mechs sort of have access to all the resource they could need, although it's in the hands of Grot, so maybe not. As I talked about before, it's basically push fit. So this platform, the grot on it, and the gun itself are completely detachable, which means I can paint the gun, the platform, and the crew completely separate of anything else, which makes it much easier to paint than it is in its current fully assembled state. And in terms of timescale, I'm giving myself a month to paint this, but I can't start until, well, probably February. I'm at home now, and I deliberately, by choice, left my paints at university. The simple reason is, well, one, they wouldn't fit, and two, I didn't want to get distracted from my exam revision while I'm at home. The other thing is, well, I have exams to revise for, and that means when I'm back at university, when I have my paints, I cannot afford to start painting, because once I start, I'm not going to stop. So I'm going to get my exams out of the way, and then I'm going to start painting the gun. The exams start in mid-January and run for 2 weeks, so it won't be until probably the end of January before I can start painting. So the plan is I'll come up with an update video in very early February just to say, all right, we're underway, I've taken your advice, here's what we're going to do, I've got a bit more of a plan now, let's get going. I've done my undercoat, maybe I've done a base coat, now let's go. And then at the end of the month, or whenever I finish the model, which I'm giving myself a month, but I think I'll probably only need 2 or 3 weeks, I'll come back and I'll say, all right, the gun is done, let's have a look at it, let's talk you through what I did, and, well, bada bing, bada boom, job done. And that's it. That is my entry for IDICBeer's New Year Painting Challenge. If you want to go and have a little bit more, there is info on Nick's channel, which I will link in the description. And yeah, that's about it. So make sure to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and make sure to leave me comments down below. As I've said before, I've never worked with Forge World, so any advice on painting or preparing to paint it would be much appreciated. Maybe some weathering ideas, because I can do things like bullet damage and chips and all that sort of thing, but I want to really make this look like it's been worn down, used multiple times, broken and put back together. And I'd like to get your help with making that a reality. So this is maybe my last video for 2015. I have plans to put another one up on New Year's Eve, but I can't promise it. Actually, I will have another video up on New Year's Eve. It's going to be another one of my slightly wacky theories like I put up on Christmas Day. So thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and until next time, I'll see you all again.